to the public.
Are we live?
And power to the people.
Got the job blessed for years.
I am a revolutionary. Kick it!
Everything's made up. Niggas still woke.
Yo, it's a privilege and a pleasure to be back in this space where the vulnerable are powerful and where the most gangster thing you could possibly do is serve. We all the way live.
Welcome absolutely everybody to All the Way Live again. It is such a pleasure to have you joining me, Miles, on this carefully curated content that we give to y'all consistently without failing. This week ain't no different. We do the show for a host of reasons, but no reason is more important that we know that real niggas is going through it, and so we're here to be able to support, have a space of energy, so we can come get refreshed, man. Share a laugh with us, you know, and get you going through the day, and maybe hopefully learn a thing or two that you can sound smart around your friends with. My brother Miles is a community organizer and activist in Chicago. I myself am an art lover and also a organizer following behind my brother's footsteps. And we are the All the Way Live boys. I remixed that thing. I remixed
you
that
did.
thing. You
did. I like that.
I'm trying it out for the first time. I you know.
I heard a little 50 Cent in there too. Like it was one set of footprints in the sand. Then it was two sets of footprints in the sand. You know what I'm saying? Me and my man. You know what I'm saying? But
you know, people used to call me 50 Cent and say that's my lookalike, and I always take offense to that. You know, if it's not too late to change the name of the show, if you can change it to like Zwe hates being called 50 Cent, I'd appreciate that.
But you have a get rich or die trying energy. Like we can't deny that. We can't deny that. You exude, you know what I'm saying?
Get rich or die trying.
Yeah,
What's that mean, nigga? What are you even saying right now?
I mean,
that's hate.
You a hustler? No, it's not. Nah, you give off hustler energy. I feel like many men have tried to confront you and become obstacles to you. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what, I'm definitely patiently waiting.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like you can answer all 21 questions. You know what I'm saying? You out here from South Africa, man. Joburg is in the building. Cape Town is in the building, man. That's my guy's way that you hear. UK is in the building. Birmingham is in the building. Shout out the boy Hassan. It's love.
I love you, dog.
And Chicago is in the building. You know that this podcast is recorded on stolen land. This land here was cared for by the Potawatomi people, the Ojibwe, the Adawa, the Council of the Three Fires, and the violence done to remove those First Nations people from this land is inseparable from the violence that we see in this city today, this country today, in this world today. So it's big love for our First Nations brothers and sisters, man. Shout out to Owamni. Owamni is a dope restaurant in Minnesota. Spent a week up there. First Nations restaurant, owned and operated. Super fire. So we got to lift up love between our black and brown people across the world. Lift up love for indigenous people across the world. Check out what you got in your city. You know what I'm saying? And lift up the First Nations, the indigenous people, wherever you be, wherever you stay. We do that each day that we record. And that's how you know that we out of the intro. We got a lot of content for you today. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I get that, but is we live though? Is we like all the way live though? You heard?
Hella content, so much to be able to talk about, man. And on weeks like this, when we don't even have to think too hard about what's gonna be spoken about, we just get to come in because the music gods have blessed us with something of quality to be able to speak about. I get very excited.
Yeah, man, it's never a happier show than when we get to go all the way in on hip hop, and especially when that hip hop is coming from spaces that are near and dear to us. So our focus today, A-Reece. That's a South African rapper, man, and the South African scene has been blowing up, straight booming. So I know that you got a lot to say about this, and I couldn't wait to come in here and hear from you on A-Reece's part 2, The Big Hearted Bad Guy.
Man, and I'm so glad you're touching on how important of a moment SA hip hop is happening right now, because without being able to appreciate what's happening to a larger extent in the rest of the to a large extent to the rest of the hip hop right now, you'll lose how impressive it is for A-Reece to be able to drop an album like this. Especially coming from where he's coming from in Pretori, which is having one of the biggest moments in hip hop right now. Dare I say, the biggest moment that it's ever had. And for A-Reece to come out shining on top of this as the young veteran, I think is so impressive.
No doubt, man. No doubt. And it's been a long road. I remember discovering A-Reece around 2015, maybe. So almost 10 years, about 8 years ago. And, a lot of bounce, definitely a different lyrical ability. And over time, it's been dope to watch his journey. Let me ask you, bro, were you expecting this album to be this good? It's good, by the way. It's very good. Spoiler alert.
It's very good. This album is very, very good. And I can't really say that I was expecting it, but I will tell you this. My brother in Chilla actually says to me, we're having the conversation, right? We're speaking about who's the best in SA at the moment, right? Like who's the best rapper in South Africa, who's the best rapper in South Africa. We're having that conversation. And I have to give props to Chills, because Chills says A-Reece is at the top of that list. He says
Before the
A-Reece is
album came
number
out.
one. Before the album came out, he says
All
A-Reece
right.
is at the top of that list.
Props.
And I have to say, I disagreed with him vehemently. I was like, no, you can't say that. Um, he's very definitely one of the most talented for sure, but you can't say that he sits at the top of this list. There's so many people that are coming out of there at the moment. Machin, you got these boys G-Tech, you got Blackie, who's doing his laps around the SA hip hop scene, who's like this hip hop chameleon. You got Magleta being heralded as one of the best young things coming out. Tyson Sibatelli, who we've covered as well, who has just dropped one of the best sonically sounding SA hip hop albums in a while. You have all of this happening at the same time, right? People are putting out their best foot forward. Nasty C just dropped an album itself, and that was clearly so big budget behind it, but people couldn't feel, the question for hip hop is that who's at the top. So after Nasty drops, Nasty and Casper C and Casper drop on the same day, two of the biggest acts, and both of their albums are met with somewhat of disappointments, I want to be able to say. Despite having the big budget and the fan and the acclaim, Reece comes in with something that is just so organic and so hip hop at its core that it just trumps all of it, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, man. I want to lift up how big of an endeavor it is to try and drop an album when you're not, like, even if you're the biggest artist or a small artist or like an artist that's growing, like trying to take that next step in your career is not an easy thing to do. And I love the examples you gave of people that have transitions to make to get more shine. Casper, Nasty C, even artists like Frank Casino have all had this opportunity to kind of take off to the next level, and to try and create a project that does that for you is a very difficult thing to do. I think following up 2016's Paradise, A-Reece also had it was a large order to follow that up, and to try and propel yourself to the next level. One of my favorite things about this project is that when you listen to it, you can hear that he's trying, and sometimes trying too hard can ruin an album, but he's trying in a measured way. He's not trying to do everything all at once. When it's time to be lyrical, he's going into that lyrical bag. When it's time to be just flowing, bounce, he's in that bounce bag. And the ability to control the effort, knowing that it's really time to show up and make a great project and to deliver on that, is not an easy thing to do, man. So
I'm so glad you said that, bro. And that's why I love talking hip hop with you, is that we saw Nasty C try as hard as he can, dropping everything, right? We saw.
Hey, yo. Come on, co-host.
Yo, only the YouTube audience will appreciate that for what it is worth.
My man is creating an incredible visual experience here on the YouTube and couldn't hit the private chat one time.
Oh my goodness! Oh, that's the funniest thing. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Audience, that's a nugget for you. You can go back and run that back to appreciate it. But what I was gonna say, oh wow, I'm actually crying, bro. Oh my god, that is
100
so funny.
plus episodes in, it was about to happen.
It was bound to happen, dude.
About to
It was about to happen. I'm surprised we lasted that long. So we see Nasty come up, man, and shout out to Valve's BTW. Shout out to Baba, my dad over there watching, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Please keep commenting down low. So we saw Nasty C come out and give out one of the most, you can hear the money behind it. The production is grand. The scope that he covers is very wide. The subject matter can get very deep at times, right? But I think I was trying to understand, like, what about that album I didn't like? And as you brought it out, like, trying too hard at something can sometimes make it too difficult to digest. And where I think A-Reece separates himself from this, and something that makes this album so digestible and so enjoyable, is that it's clearly a progression in himself, in the quality of music that he makes. This is not a different lane that A-Reece is running into. It's not a different sound that he's trying. It is a noticeably improved upon growth that he's had in the sound. And you know, I really do want to thank Reese for making an album, a hip-hop album, an essay hip-hop album that sounds like this, dude. It's so impressive.
Yeah, there's a maturity there, right? Like there's a level of rap is like very braggadocious. Rap is always trying to, there's exaggeration there. You're always trying to make yourself be the type of person that somebody else wants to be. And I think a lot of times the effort into create that feels a little bit toxic, feels a little bit narcissistic, but to be able to describe your life, the things that you're experiencing in a way that feels honest, in a way that feels like you're taking into account the things that might not be going great as well, or the ways in which you're still growing, and still to be able to come off as like, man, I want to kick it with this guy. I want to hang out with this guy. You know what I mean? This album made me want to see more of A-Reece and his life. And I think when you're creating a project that is about you, is very introspective, I think that is an incredible outcome, is to bring people into your world, to have people wanting more, to have people wanting to experience more of the things you're experiencing. And this project definitely does that. I want to give the people some of the highlights from the album, and it's going to be difficult to do that without listing off the whole track list. But what are some of your top plays on this one?
You know, dog, like, even just going off of what you're saying about just in terms of what you're saying about how enjoyable it is, right? I think one of the things that shines about this album is the features. The features are so well placed, you know, and like you're saying, like, you want to learn more about A-Reece, you know, then you go, oh, Jay Jody's his brother. Okay, cool. Now there's this whole list of people on that are featured on this that make it enjoyable for you to like dive into and go check them out and hear their sound as well, you know. And I think that also kind of checks the box of what a very important feature that these that good hip-hop albums like this have, is that they're in touch with unknown growing artists. And I'm so glad that there's so many people that are featured on here. Now, I will say that there are some songs that I wish I would have seen some different features. Understandably, the popular Pritori rap sound right now is very different from the sound that A-Reece puts out. But I would have been dope to see Mochin in there. Would have been dope to see a G-Tech feature in there. Would have been dope to see a Lotion over the Lotion play feature in there. But like West Africa Time, that was a perfect place to be able to pull in someone like Tyson Sibatelli. So I think personally, if there's a deluxe version, please, I'm starting a petition right now. Get Tyson Sibatelli on the West Africa Time feature, please.
Yeah, West Africa Time was definitely one of those joints. Really dug One Time, Ving Rhames, Ving Rhames is one of my favorite project or songs off the project. Bruce Wayne. There's some. This one is packed, bro. This one is packed, and I
Fact.
think I hear you on wanting to hear on a project that sounds so well thought out, bringing in some features that can add a little bit of punctuation here and there. But I think about like the process of making this. I don't even know how you bring people into something that seems like it's all like a vision that seems so set. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a difficult thing to try and do, but I'm right here with you waiting for the deluxe. I was very happy with what we heard, and a time when some of the biggest acts in hip hop, no matter where you are, US, UK, SA, no matter where you at, some of the biggest acts in hip hop are either creating something amazing with that big budget or kind of floundering and not really being able to put forth something that connects with the people. So to hear somebody that I see as a part of the next generation of artists under 30, artists that are have yet to hit their prime, and to see this man continue that trajectory, super, super, super fire.
Yeah, man. And you know, so when you look at this album just off of the track list, you see 19 songs on there. It gives you it really tricks you into thinking it's gonna be a super long album that's gonna have a whole lot of duds on it, a whole lot of skips on it, which if I'm being very honest, was some of the bigger criticism that I had for A-Reece on some of his old projects. I did feel like at times they ran a bit too long. I did feel like perhaps they could have been a tighter um line of stream of thought throughout the whole thing. How am I coming through, by the way?
No, you good. You sound great.
All right, perfect. Yeah, man. So I think with this album, the maturity that we hear is just a very coherent the stream of conscious that goes throughout the whole thing. You know, it's also reflecting, being able to see the fact, you know, in the outro, he says, "This is all I know how to do. I've been doing this since I was 16." And it's so true. You know, he's had all of these highs and lows in his career. But I think this definitely has to stand as his magnum opus, man. It is so clean in its sound. It sounds like, as I was listening to one of these features, I felt like A-Reece could be featured on a Griselda track, you know, and you listen to I felt like an international hip hop sound, but still very grounded on like a local SA hip hop flavor.
I actually want to ask you a little bit more about that. Because I know, like, I think of UK rap and I think of like the grime scene, the drill scene, and then there's like just UK artists that are just rapping, creating hip hop. And I don't want to say in an American style, but I want to say like grime has its own lane, and then it's this very different and distinct than UK artists that are just making kind of a more direct hip hop. So when you think of SA artists and the specific things that separate rap that's coming out of South Africa and those sounds, and then you listen to this, where on the spectrum does this fall? Because I heard a lot of Jay-Z influence, I heard a lot of New York rap influence, and so if you can like point out some of the things or kind of the things that were there or absent that might have connected this back to South Africa as well.
You know, the thing with A-Reece, which I think makes this story that much more impressive, is that he's been criticized for a long time for really trying to embrace a hip hop sound that was seen as trying too hard to be American, right? Trying too hard to sound American, trying too hard, which now I think works in his favor, because when you listen to it, there is a lot of heavy J. Cole, Jay-Z influence in the sound, but for all the right reasons, you know. For all the right reasons, you hear his reference to like Nas references. You can clearly tell where the inspiration is coming from, but it doesn't necessarily sounds like a biting more than it sounds like a student of hip hop. So I think where this stands in terms, and but A-Reece for me has always occupied a niche lane in SA hip hop. He was the first, I think, the one of the main stoner rappers that we had for a long time. You know, you could compare it possibly to where Wiz Khalifa was 2009, 2010 with Cushion Orange Juice. It's clearly, for the underground and the people that dig stoner rap, it's the best there is. But from the mainstream perspective, it's not really there, and it doesn't connect to the mainstream sound. So it does stand different in that. And I think him doubling down all of those years on a sound that was largely unpopular works to his advantage, because now as it grows and matures in that sound, and it's able now to be so refined and be very introspective and mature, it shines above the sound that we're hearing now, and always makes that sound seem popish. Not saying because rap is popular music, that's why I'm saying pop-ish. So this stands almost I would even say to the side and above any other hip hop album I've heard come out of SA this year.
Man, it works a lot of places, bro. This is a vibe. It works in the car. It works at the kickback. It works in the background, and it works as an album you can listen to and really, really hear A-Reece's story. And in that is the story of South African hip hop, and that's beautiful, man. So I don't want to beat a dead horse with this thing. This is a very good album. I recommend that any of y'all that are listening to this go check it out if you haven't already. Zway has been showing us the visuals as well, so like check out the music videos too. A lot of intentionality went into this, a lot of creativity went into this, and as a place where art meets impact, we are just happy to receive it. So are we slapping a 5 on this? Is this a 5 out of 5?
I'm gotta put a 5 out of
Yeah,
5 out of
for
5.
sure.
Let's hit the applause for A-Reece for doing this, man. Let me get the applause out for the boy.
No doubt.
Yeah, 5 out of 5 for sure. 5 out of 5. This is brilliant hip hop. This is brilliant hip hop. I want to keep this thing going. Run this music up a little bit before we get to the next session. Let's get in.
I'm with it.
Can you hear that?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I can't hear that actually. I was just hearing the applause.
No, damn.
Fading it in. I thought you was fading it in.
Nah, didn't fade it in. Hey man, we got so much more to be able to speak about on this show. So much more. Mr. Miles Xavier.
To the hits.
Let's get to the hits, man.
All right. Quick hits. We wanted to keep it light. We wanted to give you a little bit more show.
I'm ready.
So let's discuss things that are out there in the world. First, thoughts on Funny Marco, G Herbo, and Southside's interview.
I would have to. I don't know, man. I didn't watch the whole thing, so it's hard to always speak about it. Did you watch the whole thing?
I did.
Break
I
it
did
down.
go
What
back and
what
watch the
happened?
whole thing. So for anybody who's unaware, Funny Marco is an interviewer. He's one of the content creators that has picked up this like drier style of interview. A lot of dry humor, a lot of awkwardness, and leaning into that as part of the content delivery. And so he's been gaining a lot of traction with that style, and he just recently had G Herbo, who is a Chicago rapper, and Southside, a Chicago producer, on his show. And for anybody who's unfamiliar with G Herbo and Southside, that's two brothers that have been through a lot. Two brothers that come from a very particular place.
That's such a diplomatic way of saying it, bro. I like that.
Well, I mean, how would you say it?
Street dudes. They're some street dudes.
They're definitely that's not inaccurate to say. So and Funny Marco is decidedly not a street dude. And so what had happened was he invited them on the show, and I think when the approach is kind of like that dry awkwardness, some people enjoy that and can sit in it and contribute to it. Some people take offense to it, right? Some people don't hear the joke in the dryness, and they take
Yeah.
it as disrespect. And so I think even maybe a little bit proactively, G Herbo and Southside kind of brought the energy maybe they felt they were getting or anticipated to Funny Marco. They were a little disrespectful, kind of ignoring him on his platform, not really letting him ask questions. You know, they called him a bitch a couple times, and you know what I'm saying. I was trying to think of how I knew that wasn't gonna hit as soft as I wanted it to, but that's what happened. You know what I
So
mean?
with the silent B, with the silent B.
They threw his hat. They threw a cup at him, and yeah, it was disrespectful. And in a lot of other situations that could have escalated into a different way. He kept his cool throughout the interview, but it looks away.
But like, you know, I was watching like old interviews with David Letterman and Conan O'Brien, and they used to do wild these interviews. You know what I mean? Like it's almost the same style where you have this eccentric um, host whose job is to make it somewhat uncomfortable to the guests. In the name of show business, this should all kind of play well into the views. It looks like a win-win. But you know, I think when Funny Marcus says he's uncomfortable, then like cut the show, bro, end the thing there. Like, be uncomfortable, you know. So I understand professionalism and all that, but it's not like it was a live show. They could have cut it; it would have been okay.
Bruh. But that takes us back to what we were talking about last week with Old Girl and Cheesecake Factory, and how things get real weird when the camera's on while real life is happening. So if anybody has ever been in a situation where there was somebody intimidating that chose you as a target for, you know, maybe the jokes, maybe they going in on you, right? Maybe they picking at you, pushing your buttons a little bit, and you not sure how to handle that situation. That's real life. That's a difficult situation for most people. And I think the element of the camera for everybody hyped them up and had them going a little bit harder at him. And for him, put him in a situation where maybe he's truly uncomfortable, but he knows there's an opportunity for content. And that it just makes that decision process like three-dimensional in a less than healthy way.
Nah, dude. I think we're soft, bro. This dude got a cup thrown at him and his watch broke, and I get it. Oprah was interviewing KKK members who were calling her a nigger to her face, bro. Like, talk about uncomfortable. Like, come on, what are we talking about? We're just way too soft.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I think
Oprah wouldn't have broken. That's the name of it.
But he didn't break. He didn't break either. He kept it cool. He kept it cool. And I don't think I'm not trying to vilify these guys. I don't think they did anything wrong. They're a little aggressive.
You vilifying.
Am I?
You're definitely vilifying.
Well, I'm not. That's not what I'm on, man. They came in a way that was a little bit aggressive, and I could understand why my guy was uncomfortable. But I'm trying to address your point of why he might not have cut the interview, even though he felt uncomfortable. There's nothing. I mean, like you said, you bring people onto your show. You should know who you're bringing onto your show. You should be prepared for them to arrive as their whole self, and that's what it felt like G Herbo and Southside did. And I'm just saying, from the perspective of somebody who brings guests onto a show to try and have conversations, if it will start to go that way, they're not bad guys if that's how they want to handle the show. But I got to think about my reaction as a man and how much do I let the camera affect that reaction. That's just what I'm taking it.
What would you do in that setting? Let's say we got a guest coming through, they're talking spicy, they're throwing a cup at you, they're calling you all sorts of bitches. What? How would you do?
Yeah, see, it ain't gonna be too many bitches. It's gonna be like after that first one, the second one ends the interview. But I think my approach would be, and it's different because my content, my delivery, the way I express myself isn't in that like dry or reserved way. I think I would be like, yo, what's up with this hostility? I thought we was cool. You know what I'm saying? Herb, I know you just built a school down the street. I wanted to give it up to you for that. What's What can we work? What's up? What's up? What's really good?
It's different because you don't present yourself in a parody format, and I think that's where it draws the line, right? Get tougher, man. Get tougher, get better. Guess that's nothing else to it.
Yeah, bro. Hey. you heard it here first. Zo ain't scared of nobody. South side, west side, whatever.
Best believe.
All smoke is welcome.
What else we got? What else we got?
All right. Let's step away from current events a little bit. Let's talk about you and I.
Oh man.
What outdated slang do y'all still use? This is a good one.
Wow, that's a great question. Shout out Reddit for that question.
Yeah, no
what
doubt.
outdated slang do me and Miles still use?
And I know it's got to be an answer. It's an answer or two, because we get into that. But we might not know though. We might be old enough that we don't know that the slang is outdated.
That is old. I mean, there's this slang that I just learned about, and I have to like ask somebody to use it in front of me so I can make sure I'm using it correctly. That's where I'm at an age right now. If I hear some new slang, I have to be like, use it in a sentence, like a dictionary. So I can
not
sure
spelling being the slang. What's some new slang you just heard?
See, I can't even remember. I use swag ironically, but I guess that's also kind of getting older, is using old slang ironically.
I feel that. I mean, I use, ironically, I don't know. I use your dig still. That's definitely my old.
You also got bomb diggity.
Get out of here.
You said bomb diggity a few times.
I never said bomb diggity.
You definitely said bomb diggity.
Bomb diggity is crazy. Bomb diggity is like offensive.
Dude, I had a white girl drop a bomb diggity on me one time, dude. I felt offended. I'm not gonna lie.
But that's how you know, though. That is how you know that your slang is old, is that the white people around you start using it.
Yeah. But I'd be like, it's hard. I'm not trying to keep up with. Nah, I'm totally lying. I definitely do try and keep up with the new slang. That's why I hang around a bunch of young people, man, just to be able to keep myself sharp. Peak, peak. Ate.
There you go.
She ate. I just learned that.
Is word old now?
Word does give, like, what's your mathematics vibe? Word is like a descendant of the Conscious Brothers slang, because it was a time when Conscious Brothers were just like, leading the slang.
Yeah, oh, for sure. That's where we got Peace God. We got some good slang out of that.
Peace God, for sure. That's what we need. We need more enlightened dudes bringing the slang back.
It's all you. I feel like that's old. It's all you.
That's also hate. That's that's
hate.
Dude, hate is a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
It's all how you compliment people.
You
gotta be careful how you compliment people, because that's all you. That's borderline I'm trying to look up to you, big dog. Like, we know undoubtedly that's hate.
I feel you. Yep. It's your world.
Don't look. Nah. It's your world.
Don't tell me it's my world.
Always you, never me.
Nah, yeah.
Always you, never me. Oh, that's hate. That's big hate.
I think we gave him some good ones. Any other outdated slang that you still use?
Faux show.
Faux show feels crazy to type, doesn't it? Like,
it's like, how are you gonna? It's either there's 4 ways to mess it up. There's 4 ways to spell.
That's a lot of ways.
It's a lot of ways for sure. That's for sure a lot of ways. How's about this? I got one more for you.
For sure.
What quietly disappeared without anyone realizing it?
What quietly disappeared without anyone realizing it? That's a good question. TVs and cars. Remember that? TVs and headrests?
Nah, that's still booming, dog.
That's what?
That's still booming.
TVs and cars is still a thing?
But like standard high-end cars for sure. But like, you mean like people installing DVD players? That's what you mean, like the souped up version.
I mean TVs in the back of the headrest in the car. That's the
That
thing.
still happens, dog. That
Oh,
is
dude.
definitely still a thing.
Nah, my pores showing. I guess I ain't seen that in a minute.
Tuck that.
I ain't seen that in a good minute.
Tuck that.
I see the big iPads that be in the Teslas. I don't know how you're supposed to look at that and drive. That's crazy.
Dude, it makes the experience a whole lot more fun.
What else? What else has disappeared without anybody noticing?
I would have there's people perhaps. Listen, I was busy reading about you know what it is, dude? It's like all of these allegations that go against presidents, those end up disappearing and we don't ever say anything about it. Like whatever happened to the 120 indictments on Trump?
Oh, he going through it.
They caught Joe Biden's son's cocaine at the White House allegedly.
Not Joe Biden, president. Joe Biden. Yeah, they caught Joe Biden.
That's what I said.
No, you definitely pumped up the president for sure.
Come on.
Nah, Trump is going through it. Trump is that man is in court. Well, his court cases are ongoing. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
Poor Loco.
You said what?
For Loco.
yeah, for good reason. That's something we don't need to bring For Loco back, bro. For Loco is nah. You can't. Here's my thing, right? This had me thinking. So now you can go to. I went to a pizza place in Minneapolis where you can get a THC soda with your pizza, right?
Mm-hmm.
What For Loco taught us was that any beverage vice can only be one thing. Because what For Loco did was they put the alcohol with the energy drink, and they had people losing their minds. And because of For Loco, I don't think you can legally make a THC drink with alcohol in it or a THC energy drink. You can only do one vice at a time in a beverage.
One vice at a time since For Loco, because that was 4 Loco.
That's too many. That's 3 too many Locos, dog.
3 too many Locos. Gotta keep it at a singular Loco at a time.
Loco. Yep, 1 Loco at a time.
I remember we were there, dude. We were there right before 4 Loco got kicked out. It's terrible, dude. It's like drinking flavored bad decisions.
4 Loco is what you drink when you don't have time to get as fucked up as you want to be. So you just throw back a 4 Loco, and it's not even that it gets you drunk. It just puts you in a bad decision state, like you were drunk.
Bad decision state. It is. Those are the things that phase out. Nuvo. You know, Nuvo. Do you remember the drink Nuvo?
Yo, Nuvo. Hypnotic.
Where's Nuvo and Hypnotic? Dude, somebody got to put out a missing signs for Nuvo.
Moscato died off heavy too. I remember.
What do you mean?
Females was out here drinking nothing but Moscato. And it's still out here, but it was ridiculous for a time. Moscato is falling back a lot.
I mean, we stepped out of the game, bro. There was a vacuum in power.
True enough.
The vacuum power. You got any other questions for me, champ?
Let's get one more before we get out of here, fam.
All right. Let's see.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Have you ever walked out of a movie? Have you ever walked out of a movie theater?
I think I have walked out of a movie theater. I don't remember which movie theater I walked out of, but I remember seeing a movie recently thinking it's the absolute worst movie I've ever seen.
Can you remember what it was?
It had for that one Marlon Wayans movie where he's like 8 people in the same movie.
Oh yeah, I think I've scrolled past that on Netflix. I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, like quintuplet or whatever. It was absolutely terrible. But I don't want to bring another black man down, so I'm gonna get it. There's a movie recently with Adam Levine and Adam Devine. That's just absolutely. It's one of those Jennifer Aniston old school Meet the Parents type situation.
Bay had you watching that?
I don't know, bro. I might have watched it just off the strength, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. The Outlaws. The The Outlaws. That's the movie.
I know you fixed a
The
plate of food
Outlaws.
too. That's nasty. You fixed a
I spat
whole
that
meal.
food right back on the plate, bro. I spat that food right back up on that plate. Picked the whole other movie, dude. You did
Yo.
sacrilegious to eat warm food through a bad movie.
Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. The only movie I've ever walked out of the theater on. Do you remember in like 2009, 2010, when every other month there was a new parody movie coming out? Like it started with the scary movies, and then they went from scary movies to like
not another scary movie.
They went off the cliff, bro. And so one night it was just me and my homie. We in the car, chiefing, we teens just hanging out, ain't nothing to do. And it was a $5 movie theater. So we like, all right, whatever, let's go catch this movie. We went to go see Meet the Spartans, bro. Speaking of Meet the Parents, we went to go see Meet the Spartans. Now, I am a faded teenager in this movie theater.
That movie too.
And I didn't last more than like 5 minutes.
Let's throw a trailer of Meet the Spartans because we got the technology to be able to do stuff.
Bruh, that movie was
what were they thinking?
Horrible. They were thinking that that parody movies are low effort and big money. And they did not a single fuck was given in the creation of that movie, bro. That movie was horrible, bro.
It was pretty terrible. Actually, I actually remember either buying that movie or going to watch it in person, and it was, that was one of those movies that was a heist.
Yeah, where they robbed us on that one, bro. But dude, I think the scene I walked out on was like a penguin with a black voice, like trying to fight one of the Spartans or something like that. And I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm done. As a teenager, I was like, this is a wrap.
Have you assembled my army?
Don't forget, 300 was the biggest movie around that time. 300 went crazy. I blame 300 for all this. And Gerard Butler with this fake six-pack.
No Gerard Butler hate.
100 of Sparta's best warriors.
Spartans! I wanted 300. This seems like less.
Move on!
Are no match.
Nah. But I don't know. I don't know. I must have seen the trailer. I must have. So I don't know how I did it. I thought this was gonna be good.
We were all tricked, dude. We were all tricked from this because the parody movies were massive at the time.
Ooh, yeah.
Nah.
What?
Nah,
dude.
I think that's where I walked out the movie too.
Yeah, for sure. So that is probably the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. But if y'all want a good bad movie to watch, like if y'all want to watch something that is low-key horrible but still entertaining because it's bad, watch Fallen with Denzel Washington, bro.
Yeah.
Fallen is the movie where Denzel is a detective, like always.
I've seen that movie.
He's trying to figure out what's going on, and it's got I don't want to spoil it. It's got a supernatural element to it. Supernatural Denzel Detective is the movie, and it is really bad, but it's really funny to watch Denzel carry that just the most ridiculous plot.
Yeah, he fights through the demons of being distracted by the white girl in the movie. The whole movie, he's just torn between solving this case and spending time with this woman. It's beautiful.
The movie is horrible, but that one you can sit through and enjoy, even though it's really bad. That's my recommendation.
Hey man, we done came through, talked about hip hop, spoke about everything else under the sun. We appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. We know.
Oh yeah, man. We know y'all could be and are all over the world. Y'all could be and are doing all types of things, and you're still within the reach of our voices. You still chose to tune in and kick it with us, and we just have the biggest gratitude for that. So we appreciate you. We hope you're doing well wherever you at. We hope you eating good wherever you at. And we hope that even if you're going through it, you know that this too shall pass, right? We a space for you. We appreciate y'all as family. This is a celebration of celebrating. This is a celebration of life. This is a celebration of how good it feels not to have to watch Meet the Spartans again.
Never again.
Yeah, man. So we hope you watch a good movie or a good bad movie and eat something delicious and hug somebody you love. Listen to that A-Reece. Peace water, we gone.
Amen. Let's give it to him.
I love this video, Lou, by the way. This is ill.
I'm in the Bruce Wayne type whip, smoking no gelato. Cryptic messages floating in the bottle. Woke up, where we at? How the fuck should I know? 2 joints later.